It is Wednesday, May 11th, and I don't know what's going on with this program because it happened to me the other day where I couldn't get on right away. So this one I just had to try it a couple times and we were just fine. So I hope everybody is having a great hump day. And I know for us today, we have baseball to go to later on. Okay, I'm trying to get into my comments mode. Comments. You guys sent me a lot of really good questions, and I thank you profusely for that. Let's try a couple more things here. I never quite know how to get to the comments. I mean, we've only been doing this. Oh, there we go. We've only been doing this for 2+ years. You'd think I would get to know this. All right. So as I see you loading on, again, you guys had some really great questions, and it made me search a little bit on the internet. And also, I found some videos that I want to share with you. Okay. So, hey, Rondi. All right. So, first of all, the forum is fixed on. Okay, great, Noella, because I was seeing Noella got a cracked ruler, and then I fell out of the loop, so I didn't know if it got taken care of. So thank you. I saw your email again, and I'm keeping it fresh, so now I can say bye-bye. Noella's just fine. Thank you for telling me that. I appreciate it. I just have to say how much I love this group. If anyone would have told me 2+ years ago that we would grow into this world community, I would have said, oh, stop it. Well, we have, and I love everything about it. Okay, the forum is fixed. We can get pictures back up. Who knows? You know how I feel about all that. All right, so I've got some kind of fun things here. First of all, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Brandy. Wait, let me get her adorable picture up. Brandy, she is the quilter on fire. She is out of Canada and she has podcasts. And I have to tell you, she is good at it. We taped my podcast a couple months ago, and then it's live right now, Quilter on Fire. And she asked me questions other people haven't asked me. So she was a joy to work with. And then I went, huh. Then I went to the week before and it was Mary Fawn's and I was listening to it fascinated. I am going to go through all 67 podcasts. And we do have a giveaway, a $100 giveaway from thequiltshow.com. And I don't know, you have to fill something out or whatever, but she'll tell you. And I think that contest runs through Sunday. But don't ask me because I'm the one that screwed up with Pokey's thing. I still can't believe I messed that up because I wanted one of those 2 quilts. Okay, so what we're going to be doing after this is this quilt. All right. You guys have been writing to me. I had to take it out of my personal store. These don't exist anymore. And what we're going to be doing is getting the PDF from JWD and go from there. And if you don't want to do baskets, I commission you to open this little book that I know most of you own and just seek out blocks that are in 6 inches. And then those 6-inch blocks will take the place of these. So be mindful of the block that you choose. Be mindful that I think you want the background of the block that you choose to be white, but I am super excited about this because it's not just let's all copy this quilt. Yeah, I'll share. I mean, I'll share how to make the basket and all that, but you guys have chops. I know that, and I think this could be pretty spectacular. So that's coming up next. Hopefully we can get the fabrics in, but this is what Kristen has come up with. We have the warm grouping, Heart Be Still, and we have the cool grouping. A lot of you said, do blue, please, please, do blue. So we have both. Yes, Hillary, 6-inch finished is what you're going to want. And then there'll be 4 of them together. So ultimately it's a 12-inch block. Oh, that's another idea. You could just do 12-inch blocks in there. So Kristen is on the phone today and tomorrow to see you know, what we can do and how soon we can get it. Note the blue of the polka dots. Those are the setting polka dots. And note in the warm, the polka dots, those are the setting polka dots. So pretty darn excited about that to start. Although I will tell you that I am still loving on the beige quilt behind us, the neutrals quilt. Okay, so what else do we have here? This is kind of, normally I get a little pattern in my brain of how we're going to go through it, and I don't today. So for sure the angel's on. Now I want to talk about right now the show that's airing is Alicia Labendenko. She is adorable. She is a Ukrainian and she moved to Canada 2 years ago. She does a lot of little things that are just so cute, you can't stand it. She has the personality of take 7-Up, shake it up, and pop the lid. That's Alicia, just adorable. But this is what you need to know. You need to watch the after set. She went the day she came to tape. 2 of her friends had been killed in Ukraine. And then Shelley has kept up with her, and she is losing more friends left and right. We didn't want that to be the heaviness of the show, but we acknowledged that it was going on during what we're experiencing now as a world. And the after set, she takes us to Ukraine and shows you how beautiful her country was. So the after sets are always there for a reason, but this might be one of the most poignant after sets we've ever done. And when it was over, we just wept. We just wept. Okay. So, okay. And she has a different way of paper piecing that I still haven't quite wrapped my brain around it yet. Okay, let's see what I have on Marge right here. Okay, Marge sent me this picture and wanted to know how to quilt it. Well, I'll tell you the first thing that came to my mind, Marge, was think of a rock being a pebble being thrown in a still lake and the thing that would happen with the ripples. What if you, in no way lining them up perfectly, but do large concentric circles as if 10 pebbles have been tossed into the pond at once? I think that that might be really effective. There's a couple things you can do. Take a picture of it, print it out, do an overlay and draw on it, you know, and just see if it looks good or not. And or get a large roll of tracing paper, put it on top of it and do some drawing on it and see what you think. But that's what instantly came to mind to me. I would want to duplicate those circles, but I would not want to be in line with the actual shapes themselves. I think that would not be great. Okay, then Rondi, hi, I see you here, recovered her lap app with these sewing machine covers, and I think it's absolutely a blast. In full disclosure, a lot of the covers aren't my cup of tea, but guess what? They give you a pattern, so you can go from there. Okay, now I'm lost. All right, here we go. Okay, Lori Holt, what did she ask? Oh, yes. Margaret asked, somebody brought up Lori Holt a couple weeks ago, and I said, boy, that name rings a bell. And then Margaret got back to me and said, but have you looked at her stuff? And so I went and Googled her, love Mr. Google this morning, and came up with this. Lori Holt, she is someone to pay attention to. Her stuff is super whimsy, super fresh, and wonderful. So thank you, Margaret, for pressing the issue because I'd already forgot. Sometimes all the time, when I do this, like when we tape a show, I forget. I'm on to the next thing. So the other thing you wanted to know was, and where did they go? My yellow scissors or my orange scissors. There they are. They are Karen K. Buckley scissors. Karen, we carry them in the store. She has a bunch of different sizes. They are fabulous scissors. If you don't own her scissors, pick out a size like this and it will change your life. Kind of like I feel our rulers do at Quilters Select. All right. So let's see, what else? Oh, I went out to the store yesterday and to see what was new, and I'm saving some really good stuff here. Did you know friction pen come as a highlighter? I did not know that. And so um, you can, just like the other one, mark things with this. Oh, like say patterns. And then when you're done with it, you can use the eraser on this end or the heat of your iron. I didn't even know these things existed. So yay for Kristen finding that. The other thing is we love Karen K. Buckley, and she has new perfect leaves, which some of you might be interested in because we're kind of dipping our toe in applique. And then I saw this, Know Your Battings, and this commissioned me. I'm going to do an interview with Kay Brooks from Quilter Select next week. Not sure quite when it's going to air. And I said, look, I don't want an infomercial for Quilter Select. I want to know about different battings. And I want to know it in 15 minutes. And she said, done. So I'm going to tape that interview next week. Okay. Love, Lori Holt. Okay. So, where's Rondi? All right. Okay, then Beth asked this question. No, Beth showed this. I couldn't believe it. Beth Freeman, she didn't really have success with applique machine, and she watched the lesson the other day, and guess what? This is her work. So Beth, yay, I doubt you'll ever go back to hand. Just saying. All right, and speaking of that, I'm trying to figure out who asked me this. Oh, Kathy asked me. I shared Monday how to do this prepared applique using the Print and Piece Fuse Light. And I was very generous with the glue, and I like squished it all over here, and then I prepared it. If I know I'm going to do it by hand, and I will tell you that Appliquick, she does it all the time with hand, but I would be inclined to kind of skip. Don't go all the way to the edge. Oh shoot, here we go again. You can see here probably vaguely, and again, I don't know if my screen has gone dark. No, it hasn't. Lovely. It's that white. Cameras just don't like white. Well, anyways, I've just put it in here. And then I leave this part so that there's no ink out on the fabric. And that's not how I showed how I did it on Monday. I understand that. So if you want to do it by hand, just steer clear the edge of Print and Piece Fuse Light, and you're going to be fine. And then when you applique, you're not even going to you're not even going to really touch that product. You're going to just slide in and out, okay? So what else do we have here? Okay, then I got a question. Oh, from Melanie. Melanie had a great idea. I'm kind of thinking that applique is not necessarily her jam, but she noted that the center lines that are straight, why couldn't you just piece those in? You could. There's no reason you can't. I probably would have better luck with applique than piecing it in, but that's food for thought for down the road. So thank you, Melanie. I have to tell you, this group I just absolutely love because we're all over the world. And just like if we were in a workshop together, we'd say, well, wait, what about this? And so I appreciate it when you send me these questions. All right, then I got a question, and I don't know who sent it to me. I'm sorry. And wanted to know about tearing out when you're foundation paper piecing. I mean, what a pain in the patootie, right? So I don't really do that much foundation paper piecing, but so I called Judy at Quilters Select. She's one of our educators. And she said what she does is she lifts this up, both pieces, and she then just slides her rotary cutter in there. Or no, rotary cutter. I think this is called a seam ripper in America and possibly all over the world. And just slides in and goes like that. Now I'm using print and piece, which is a fiber. It's not a paper. And so look how it's holding up. You can't see, but it's not tearing. Dang, that white. But anyways, this is what you do. You just slide under and do your thing. If you're using, say, like Carol Doak paper or something like that, you might want to go on this side and just run some tape, some clear tape, okay, so that this doesn't tear. But essentially, the bottom line is you just slide in here and pick out. Thank you, Judy. I don't know how I did it in the past, other than I picked from this side, and that's a nightmare. So Judy, you changed my life there. But what happened was I got on the internet to see how people do it, and I ran across a video by Lee Henrik. It blew my mind. All right. And so, with her permission, I'm going to show it to you. And with my lips to God's ears, I can find it here on my computer. She shows how to avoid having to tear out, pick out stitches in foundation paper piecing. So, let's see if I can get there. Got to get rid of these things all over here. I'm telling you, you probably will want to watch this twice. Here we go.
If you struggle to lose weight, you must see this.
Oh my God.
A fat dissolving loophole has just...
I'm sure we all know that you don't want to have to tear out paper piecing stitches. They're so close together and so tiny. It's horrible. It's not a fun thing. So I think this is a big reason why people can't stand paper piecing. So I am going to show you a really cool trick, a really easy visual way to know if your piece is in the right spot. So you won't miss that template and you won't have to tear out those stitches and redo it. And I'm going to show you using this little section of Yvonne's Gorgeous Black, which this black does have a lot of templates. So this is a pretty simple little section with just 2 pieces, but trust me, it is a lot harder to piece than it looks like because of that crazy angle. So I'm going to show you how to do this. If you are interested in getting the pattern for this black, it is part of our Summer Sampler series, which I put out along with Katie Blakesley and Faith Jones, and you can get the pattern in my shop online. So I'm going to show you, but I'm going to show you right now how you can use this tip to avoid paper piecing disasters. So here we go. Okay, so we are going to be piecing the C template for this black. Here's my C template right here, all printed and ready to go. And the 2 fabric pieces, for C1, we have this piece of light blue right here. And for C2, we have this piece of white. So I'm going to start by obviously placing the C1 piece. I actually like to either just hold the fabric onto my template or glue it down versus pinning it because it's nice and flat. So I'm going to flip over the template, glue that C1 piece right into place like this. So just use my glue stick, put a little dot there. That was probably too much since the glue is showing through. So there you go. This is a little too, there we go. Okay, so when we set this down, you can see that the C1 piece is completely covering the back of the C1 space, as you always have to do when you start paper piecing. So now to figure out the correct placement of this piece, which is the white piece, what I'm going to do first is fold back the template right on this line that we're about to sew. So this line in between C1 and C2, I'm going to fold the template back approximately on that line. That looks good. Just like that. And trim off the excess. So I'm going to grab my rotary cutter and a ruler, and I'm going to trim the excess 1/4 inch from the folded paper. So you can see, here, let me move this up a little bit. You can see here's my 1/4 inch mark right along that folded edge of the paper, and trim. So now we can see exactly where we need to place this next piece, right? This is something that's good to do with paper piecing no matter what, especially when you're a beginner, because it really helps you see where that line is. Okay, so now we have to figure out where to place the next piece in order to have it in the right spot. And that can be pretty tricky when you're, especially when you're a beginner, you're looking at it going, where does this go? It could go like this. 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 Who's to say how it's supposed to be placed? And let's say you decided to place it like this. Once it's sewn, it's going to go like that. And look at how much of the template that you just missed. So that obviously is totally the wrong placement, that particular one. So how do you know what is the right way to place this fabric to get that awkward angle so that it covers the correct amount of the template? That can be tricky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to that fold. So fold the template back over, just like this. Turn it over so that the fabric side is up, because obviously we always need the fabric right sides together. So when you're looking at it like this, what you need to do is place the fabric so that it's covering this whole part of the template that's showing when it's folded back like this. So now that I have it folded the same way I had it in order to trim off this excess, I am going to place this fabric exactly like this so that it covers that whole section of the template that you can see when it's folded. That is all you need to do to figure out where to place this next piece. It will help you place so many awkward angled paper piecing pieces. I can't even tell you. This always works because you're working backwards. So by folding it, you have that mirror image that you need, right? So I'm going to go ahead and sew right along the line. So then once you've got it placed correctly, then you do have to fold the template back to where it needed to be so that you can sew right along that line. But be sure to keep that white fabric right there, right where you had it. You could pin it into place. I just kind of hang on to it like this. And now I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine and sew right on this line. Okay, so now I have sewn right along this line here, just like that. So I'm going to flip it over. You're going to press it into place. We'll just pretend that I ironed it. And ta-da! You've got your piece of fabric in exactly the right spot. Now, you can see that there's a little hole there. But if you look on this other side, it's going to be trimmed right along here. So then you won't have that. So let me just go ahead and trim this. You can see. little bit. Okay. There you have it. Perfect. You didn't miss any spots. It's all good. So that is my favorite paper piecing tip that I have for people. Trust me, it will save you so many ripped stitches over and over. It works like a charm every time. So thanks for
Right? Who's gonna watch that again? Who's gonna watch that? I've never seen anything like that. Lee, thank you so much for giving permission. I actually wrote her and I said, please say yes, because I've already got it in queue. So, Pat, I do not have a new book coming out. Bonnie sent me an email with a picture of the polka dot grunge. Bonnie, I can't find my original yardage, so I've sent it on to the store and I'm going to see what they say. And if they didn't see it, then we need to have you talk to Moda, okay? I love that. I'm going to do one more little video and hopefully I can pull it off. I got an email about Free Fuse, and this is a little bit of an infomercial, so forgive me in that, but she wanted to know how to use it, and no, it does not gum up your needle. So let's see if I can get that one too, and I'm sorry we're running a little bit late, but I think this is good stuff. Okay, let's see if this works. Anderson, and I'm really excited about Quilter Select Free Fuse. Basically, it's a basting powder. That's right, powder. I'm not too keen on the spray adhesives because of the overspray, the fumes, and all of that stuff. Well, Quilter Select has solved it with this particular product. It's a polyester powder. Well, let me show you. Again, it's a powder or almost like a fine salt that's actually polyester. It comes in this nifty little container, and then it has this as the delivery system of the powder. So basically you just lightly shake it out. You only need about that much. You press and you bond all your layers together. So let me show you on this particular sample here. Here is a piece of batting. Let me put that on there. I would shake some out, and you don't have to use too much. I mean, that's something that you're going to have to experiment with your iron and the fabric you're using and all that. And you put your, say, backing on here, and then you iron it down. When you're done ironing down, say, the backing, then you flip it over and you put some more Free Fuse on it. It is a semi-permanent bond, so it will not wash out. But because it's polyester, it's super duper luscious and supple and wonderful to quilt through. So here we go. I've got my little sample here. Let it cool for a second. And then, let me show you. It's just so great, you guys. I can't stand it. Look at that. It's not going anywhere. You can over powder it. If you over powder it, it's not going to ruin anything. You'll just have to buy more of this sooner. And this should do a full-size quilt for you. Okay, that's easy on a 6-inch square. What about a larger piece? I've taken my ironing board and I have pushed it up to my table at the exact same height. So this is how I manage a larger piece. So I start with my backing, and I'm going to put Free Fuse on here, shake it on, go down the line. If it's a bigger quilt, iron this on and then go and do the next section. So here's this. I'm going to iron. And again, all irons are different. You're going to have to figure out what temperature works for you. On my wonderful little Panasonic, I have it on full speed high. All right, so I've done one end. Now this is the trick. I'm going to turn it all around. And this is what I've just fused right here. I'm going to put that up here on my table. I'm going to lift up the backing, and it will naturally stop peeling where the free fuse ended. Here, let me pull this down here. I'm going to put some more free fuse on. There you go. And then iron it again. And basically, I'm going to work from one end of the quilt or the backing to the other. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to move it. I'm going to fold it back, put more free fuse in it, and there you go. But it's not just great for basting a quilt. It's got a lot of applications. So for instance, here are 2 ribbons that I wanted to sew together by hand, kind of whip it down. We have a sateen on one side, a raw silk on the other. I put some free fuse on the ribbon, and then I just put a little bit here, ironed this on top, and it's not going anywhere. So there are so many different applications you can use your free fuse for, and I would love to hear what you've come up with, because I just got mine and I'm beginning to say, oh, I could do this. And I will say that I made that video a while back, and probably I would not use it for raw edge applique. If I wanted something really lightweight, I would use Apple Web Plus. I know people use it for different things, but I like it pretty much for basting, all right? And it's super, super uber needle friendly, okay? And then Pat just asked, can you mend a shirt with it? No, use fabric prep. Think of free fuse as a replacement for your spray adhesives. Whatever you use that for, that's where I would use free fuse. The number one thing people do is they put way too much on, and then what happens is it just kind of like falls out all over. It is white because we knew if we did a color, somebody would use it on a white quilt, so that wouldn't be good. So I put it down, I sprinkle it, and then I just go like this, all right? If you want, you could put a pressing cloth on top. If you're not real careful, you could mess up your iron, so be careful with that, okay? All right, so I saw that one of you is in a Mancuso class today. I'm going to be in a Mancuso class tomorrow with David Owing Hastings. I'm very excited. We taped a show with him. It has not aired yet, but he was really, really good. He comes with a background of graphic design, and he knows how to break things out like no tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. And then on Friday, I know what I'm going to do. As soon as we get done here, I'm going to throw this quilt in the washing machine, and I'm going to block it. Now, this particular quilt really doesn't need to be blocked. For some reason, it cooperated inside and out for me, but there are times that you need to block a quilt to kind of stretch it into shape if it's not behaving properly. And so that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to photograph it and then bring you that information. Don't let any of it get on the front of the fabric. It takes the color out. Really? I did not know that, Diane. I wish I could see a picture of that because I'd like to pass it on. So Captain John, why do we call him Captain John? So what happened was when, look at all you guys with the classes you're taking here. I can't stand it. It's so exciting. Brandy, sorry I spelt your name wrong. I put an I on the end. No matter what, Brandy, you rock it with your podcast. I mean, I was listening to Mary Fonz. You really are good. You have found your deal. So Captain John. John used to work for, well, he started off with Kroger as their Fry's Food Stores, as their controller, owned by Kroger. And then he went to work for Mission Valley Rock. And if you live in the Berkeley area, it was the yellow and blue concrete trucks, you know, because they were all go Cal. And that got purchased by, he was controller there, got purchased by a big concrete company, which got purchased by a world concrete ready mix company. And John saw this little company just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And what he loved about being with Mission Valley Rock and Berkeley Ready Mix is that it was a team. It was like a TQS team. I mean, well, anyways, so his role became smaller and smaller and smaller, more pigeonholed. And even though he's an accountant, guess what he doesn't like doing? Whereas before it was more multifaceted. So we were up at the cabin and something had just happened. It doesn't matter what with, and he said, I think I want to quit my job. And so, okay, the kids were through college. We had to look at what was taxable and blah, blah, blah. And it was like, go ahead, quit your job. And he said, I think that quiltshow.com is such a superior product. You need someone to run the show. And so, or steer the ship. And that's when he became Captain John. And he also has a captain hat that was his dad's that we bought him at one point. So, mind you, there are a lot of people running the show now, like Justin. And I mean, we have grown, grown, grown. But that's how he came about as Captain John. So it was something I just threw out there and it stuck. You know how that works. So, yeah, Brandy, I'm not kidding you. I'm going to finish up Mary Fawn's today and then I'm going to go watch more of them. You guys, Quilter on Fire podcast. You do not want to miss her work. She is an excellent interviewer. And if you've never done it before, just Google it and get there and click a button and there you go. So, okay, I got to get ready for David Owen Hastings' class tomorrow. I have to go block this quilt, get pictures, and I will show you on Friday. Have a great day, people. It's been a blast hanging out with you. Thank you for choosing to spend your time with me. Okay?